Hey, what's going on, guys? Luke here, and we are here to do my tips and predictions for round 5 of the 2023 NRL season. Who'd have thought we're already up to round 5? Not me. I feel like it's going super quick this season. Plenty of upsets, plenty of fantastic games. In fact, the quality of games this year is, in my opinion, is up high compared to previous seasons. So I'm really enjoying all the footy that's being played. And obviously we're up to round 5 already, so we're going to be talking about round 5. But before we do so, I need to mention that if you happen to enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Miss Luke and YT. Go ahead and chuck me a follow. Give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. Also, I need to mention, instead of showing it at the end of the videos, I've decided I'm going to be doing it throughout the video. So I want to mention everybody who is a member of the channel. Thank you so much for coming on board the channel. It mostly comes throughout the streams, but if you'd like to become a member as well, you get to be featured in the videos like you're seeing right now. Also, shout out to everybody who's super chatted while I've been doing live streams as well. You're also seeing them on the screen at the moment as well. So shout out to everybody who's become a member over the last, couple of years and supported the channel and supported me. It helps out massively. Now we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the very first game. So the round kicks off with the Sydney Roosters taking on the Parramatta Eels. Just going to take a look at the lineups real quick. Immediately my head says go for the Roosters. I know the Eels had a great win last week, but they just always seem to be able to get a good result against the Panthers, and then you sort of expect them to go on a run or back it up, and they just don't seem to be able to do it. But I mean, in terms of on paper, just looking purely on paper, I think the Eels actually have, they have a team that stacks up pretty well to this Roosters side. No Joey Manu for the Roosters as well, which is a huge one. Suaalii moves into the centres. I'm pretty sure we got Drew Hutchison. In fact, he could have already been playing in the centres, but Drew Hutchison in the centres really does worry me, but I think it kind of is, I don't know, goes hand in hand with Wonga Blake playing in the centres for the Eels. So I guess they're kind of as bad as each other, I guess. It's not that, I think Hutchison's a great player. He's just not a centre. They've got Corey Allen on the bench, though, so I expect Corey Allen to probably come into the side and probably be in the centres at some point. But yeah, just looking at all of the sides, I think the forward pack for the Roosters is starting to look a little bit better. The bench is looking a little bit better. I do think they really need to play Corey Allen in the starting position. But like Matt Doorey on the bench, Brandon Hands looked really good off the bench. So I tipped the Roosters initially, but I'm starting to sort of lean and sway a little bit more to the Parramatta Eels. So, I'm going to change. I'm going to go Eels. I actually did my tips on NRLtipping.com, whatever it is, and I picked the Roosters. I've just changed to the Eels. You've just seen it here live. You just seen me swap. So the Eels, I'm going to go them 1-12. I think it'll be a tight one, but they did get a tight one last week, so it shows that they can be clutch at moments. So, yeah, speaking of clutch moments, we've got the Penrith Panthers here. They are the second game on Friday, taking on the Canberra Raiders in Canberra. Not sure what the weather's going to be like, and it's ironic I'm talking about clutch moments, and in all the clutch moments of recent times, in terms of 2023, I should say, the Panthers have pulled off something miraculous, Nathan Cleary in particular, and then they still lost. However, I don't think they're going to lose this one. I don't really need to comment too much on this one. I think it's pretty straightforward. Panthers are a fantastic side. Raiders haven't been that bad. In fact, they have been bad. They're in 16th spot. They're pretty terrible, let's be real. No Jack Whiten as well. So I think everything just screamed to 13 plus for the Panther side. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting 13 plus from the Panther side. Just absolutely run rampant on the poor Raiders. Sorry, Raiders fans, but I think it's going to be a good Friday for you. On to the second game. It's the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Melbourne Storm. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. No Jerome Hughes. They got Jonah Pezzett still in the half-back role. But apart from that, it's about as strong as they're going to get for quite some time. Obviously, no Pappenhausen is, that's just life for the Storm. No Pappenhausen probably for the rest of the season. In terms of the side for the Rabbitohs, looking at them, like Charles there, Cody Walker, Ilias, Damien Cook. Not too many changes I can see for the most part. No big changes anyway, so it's pretty much the same side. I'm going to be tipping the South Sydney Rabbitohs for this one. I think it's not something that I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, it's a sure thing or anything like that. It's never a sure thing when you take on a side like the Melbourne Storm, especially with Cameron Munster in the side. And they've got plenty of other good players as well who can sort of, pose a threat to the Rabbitohs. Justin Ireland back another couple of weeks. So, look, They've got a decent side, the Storm, but it's obviously not the Storm that we're used to. And I expect the Rabbitohs, I expect it to be a good game, but I expect the Rabbitohs to win this one at 13 plus. Just as good as the Storm are, the Rabbitohs are playing pretty well at the moment. So I'm expecting a big performance from guys like Damien Cook and Latrell Mitchells, Cody Walkers. I expect them to sort of get on the front foot and then just put the foot down and take off and get a big win for them. So 13 plus for the Rabbitohs here. Now on to Super Saturday season. Manly Ringer Seagulls in second spot, taking on the Newcastle Knights, who in 12th. Didn't realise the Knights were actually as high as 12th. I thought they'd be further down, but poor Knights. I can't see him getting the job done. In fact, on Supercoach, I've captain Tommy Turbo. I think Manly are going to absolutely smash him. I can't see any other way, and there's no other world where Manly don't win this one. Schuster's out from all reports, so Cooper Johns comes in, and I think it can be argued that Cooper Johns does just as good as a job as Schuster. A little bit different players, but Cooper Johns looked really good in the preseason, looked really good in the first few rounds when he was playing, so I don't think they lose anything there. Tommy's back to his best by the looks of things, and just poor Knights. It's not even really down to the Knights, it's just Manly at home, no Ponga. It's not going to be good for him. It really isn't. 13 plus by Manly, maybe even 20 plus. Now to the second game of Super Saturday, it sees the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Dolphins. Let's just say Redcliffe Dolphins. I'm sick of saying the Dolphins. They're Redcliffe. It's played at Wollongong. Obviously out for the Dragons. Aaron Woods is gone. He's into the Manly team. But for the Dolphins, there's quite a few changes. So Katoa comes back in. Jeremy Marshall-King comes back in as well. Sean O'Sullivan is out though, so that is a big loss for them. However, if they were taking on some other sides, I might be inclined to be Dolphins will struggle without Sean O'Sullivan. I think they will big time, especially with Milford as your halfback now. Milford's not the worst player of all time. I know Milford cops that a lot, and I don't particularly hate Anthony Milford. He used to be one of my favourite players, easily when he was at the Broncos. So entertaining to watch, but for me, he's not a halfback, but either is Katoa. So, look, if they were taking on other sides, I probably would tip the Dragons. Even now, looking at the side, I'm going, Dragons, this is the sort of game that they can win this one. They can break the streak for the... I suppose they got beat last week, but you know what I mean, where they've been playing very, very well. I can see this being the sort of game where sort of things start to unravel a little bit, and you go, I can't believe they're losing to the Dragons. That's just the sort of team the Dragons are. They take on these sort of sides, and they get a dub. I don't understand it, but just purely for, just playing it safe, I'm going to go the Dolphins for this one. I'm going to go 1-12. I think it'll be a fairly tight one. I think at home, the Dragons will sort of push them a fair bit, if not beat them. So, yeah, so the Dolphins in at third, up against the Dragons in at 14th, but I still think it's going to be a close game. Going to be interesting, the jersey clash, fairly similar colours, so we'll see how that goes. On to the last game of Super Saturday sees the Brisbane Broncos in first spot. Who'd have thought? Brisbane Broncos in at first, taking on last. It's first up against last. It's the Broncos up against the West Tigers. 13 plus Broncos. I'm not really going to get too much into this one again. I feel like I'm just wasting my breath. I'm talking about the West Tigers. Broncos are the Broncos. They've been playing excellent. The Battle of Broncos. The Battle of Brisbane last week, it was very, very entertaining. And obviously the Broncos got the job done. A very, very tight one. But just in terms of the Tigers are the Tigers, and 13 plus Broncos. Brandon Wakeham in the halves, Luke Brooks still there. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Now moving on to Sunday afternoon football. The first game sees the Cronulla Sharks taking on the New Zealand Warriors. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game. Obviously Nico Hines came back into the side last week for the Sharks, and they look like a completely different side. Look at his Supercoach points. It was 180, something like that. He absolutely killed it. He killed it. The Sharks killed it. Sharks back to their best. In fact, it's not they were at a bad point or anything. It's just with him in the side, the next level. The Warriors, on the other hand, though, pretty good win over the Bulldogs. It was at home, so obviously that when the Warriors play at home, they're a different side. But Sean Johnson's looking really good this year. Tamari Martin's there. They've got a lot of good players. This Warriors side, even just when you think of the Warriors, you tend to go, nah, it's not that great of a side. Then you actually go through their actual lineup and you go, it's not bad. I don't mind it. It's nice. It's a nice, tidy little squad there. But the Sharks are the Sharks. Sharks 13 plus. I can't sit here and say this is going to be a close game just after what we saw last week. Warriors got the job done against the Bulldogs. Some controversy there, but the Sharks were just outstanding. They were absolutely outstanding. They just put the sword in the second half. Nico Hines killed it. That's all that needs to be said. And on to the last game of the round. It sees my Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. We're in the hat. My Bulldogs at home, considering going to this game, but they're taking on the North Queensland Cowboys. Everything says it should be a Cowboys win, but I'm going to be tipping the Bulldogs. Again, tipping with my heart here, not the head. Look, the Bulldogs have looked okay at times, but they've also looked absolutely diabolical in the second half every single game. So for me, it's hard to sit here with confidence and say that the Bulldogs are going to win this one. However, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Cowboys, they haven't been too crash hot this year. compared to last year anyways, they find themselves in 13th spot. So they are actually below the Bulldogs on the table. I think that says a lot about the Cowboys this year. However, you expect them to get going at some point. And knowing my Bulldogs, this could be the week that the Cowboys get going. So, yeah, realistically, I probably should be saying that the Cowboys are going to win this one. However, Bulldogs 13 plus Jacob Kraz to get a double. Let's try it. Anyways, I should mention as well that the Titans do have a bye. I always forget to mention who's got the bye until I get to the end of the video, but Titans got the bye. They've been looking okay this year. Probably can do with the bye too with some of their injuries and stuff. So, yeah, on your Titans, there's another 2 points for you. And I was going to wrap things up here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this one. If you did, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to follow me on social media. It's on the screen right now. I'm holding my phone. Let's do this one. There we go. Mr. Luke and YT. I was going to say for the most part, but I don't have a Facebook anymore, so it's just Mr. Luke and YT. Give me a follow. Give me an ad. And stay tuned for more content on the channel, guys. Got plenty of stuff to be made. I've got a bit of time on my hands these days, so I can be making plenty of videos. So stay tuned for that. Even over the weekend, plenty of live streams, plenty of videos. Become a member, super chats, all that sort of stuff. It's all appreciated. It all helps me out massively. But yeah, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.